All of the work that's taking place right now is to prepare the house to be moved to its new location. One of the first things they had to do is remove all of the brick veneer that was put on at some point in years past, and after that was removed, they found some asbestos siding. And that's not what we really wanted to find, because that required some asbestos removal specialists to come out and make sure that no dust contaminated any of the areas around the house or the neighborhood. So they used a lot of plastic, wet down the asbestos siding as it was being removed, and then encapsulated it in the plastic and another bag in order for it to be disposed of properly. But after all of that's removed, you can really get an idea of kind of the evolution of the house. Now originally, Hank's house was only 24 by 24, just a little square sitting on the lot. Then at some point in the past, they added an addition on, and then later on, they added another addition to create the house that's here now. Now, all of the work that's taking place is to prepare it for that big move. That is going to be quite a project. In order to clear the trees and the power lines along the route, the roof has to be removed. Some bracing is added to reinforce the structure, and then it's covered to protect it from the elements, and just in time. These massive steel I-beams that are being welded together will be threaded underneath the house to support it. That's not as easy as it sounds. Larry Scalf is the man in charge.
Maybe the weather will work out good for us. We can get this thing moved and make everybody happy, and that's what we're doing it for.
He and his crew have their hands full, especially since this is a volunteer job for them. They positioned a series of jacks under the beams, which are centrally controlled by one hydraulic pump, so they lift the house in unison. The process is slow, but eventually the building is up and off of its foundation. When the jacks reach the end of their travel, more supports called cribbing hold the load while the jacks are raised. This process continues until the structure is high enough to get the massive dollies underneath it. Then the whole assembly is connected to the semi-tractor that'll pull it through town. Even this massive truck needs a little help to get this 30 tons moving. After a bit of jockeying to get it into the narrow street, we started making progress with an army of police and utility workers clearing the way. At tight corners, the house is jacked up again so that the dollies can be repositioned to take a steeper angle and navigate the turn. Occasionally, a street sign has to be persuaded to make a little more room. Then, more jacking and repositioning the dollies for the straightaways. The clearance is tight moving through the neighborhood where Hank grew up, but the route also takes the house by a park that bears his name. Once out of the neighborhood, the pace really picks up. In all, the route from Edward Street to Hank Aaron Stadium is a little over 6 miles and takes about 6 hours before this house arrives at its new home.